I'm David Sandbeck, running for Congress in Minnesota's 4th Congressional District. And on trade, we need a revised NAFTA and a World Trade Organization in favor of agreements that promote greater justice. This touches on the desires of both liberals and conservatives. These pacts are not your free trade treaties of modern history that involve smaller tariffs or ending quotas. As we've seen, they are international systems of autocratic governments with severe penalties for infringement, which go far beyond reducing the aforementioned trade barriers that they subordinate, customer, worker, and environmental protections to the imperatives of global trade by labeling any country with high safeguards in these sectors as erecting non-tariff trade barriers, which are illegal and prosecutable by the bureaucrats in Geneva by request of a member nation having lesser safeguards. That's why consumer rights advocates like Ralph Nader call these trade treaties pull-down agreements. Conflicts are resolved by circumventing the member countries' agencies, courts, and legislatures in favor of literally secret courts which operate without independent appellate review behind closed doors in Switzerland, where neither the media nor anyone else except direct advocates from the contending countries can witness what's going on. Test what people think about this loss of sovereignty, this overriding of our democratic practices, this undermining of our workers, jobs, and well-being, this unjust competition from countries brutalized by their rulers. For example, those using child labor, which under the WTO can be exploited to manufacturing goods sold abroad. Those imports cannot be prohibited by any of the signatory nations, including the United States. Talk to conservatives and liberals about our country being defenseless, unable to block countries with lower safety standards that want to export food and medicines here. Thousands of Americans have died or gotten sick or were defrauded just by using contaminated products from China, which has not allowed full FDA inspections. Other provisions of these agreements, always negotiated in secret, except for the consultations with corporate lobbyists. I think this would sear sensibilities of just about all Americans, whatever their persuasion, who experience the consequences in their daily lives. Yet, corporatists in both parties are pushing for even more autocratic agreements, such as that all-secret Trans-Pacific Partnership that was being negotiated by and with Asian nations. Lori Wallach, director of the Global Trade Watch, describes the draft treaty by the United States as enforceable corporate global governance that could rip up our basic needs and rights. This type of partnership is being proposed and pursued again under the Trump regime. Language in every one of these ratified treaties allows signatory nations to give 6 months' notice of withdrawal. An economy the size of the United States, signaling its intention to give 6 months' notice, would bring the others rushing quickly to the negotiating table for revision. Global Trade Watch, a durable coalition of left and right allies from civic, labor, and corporate groups, has long been in opposition to these agreements. Have the details of how these negotiations are being conducted, have them conducted fair to Americans and other people in the world. You can look more, you can find out more, and you can go to Global Trade Watch. And that's citizens.org/trade. This issue is ready for convergence and shovel ready for donations sufficient to do the job. The next 5, we could talk more about this, about these corporate abuses, but I want to keep these videos tight. So I'm David Sandbeck. Thank you for your time and attention.